So, picture this. We're at Primavera. I'm watching Little Sims tear it up on the main stage. Debbie's watching Smirts. Both sets we've recorded to share with you, by the way. And we receive a message to our New Music Fix Daily group that shook us to our core. We had confirmed an interview with none other than Robert Smith in an hour's time.
Yeah, it was quite a stark moment of shock and awe. We sprung into action, of course, like the pros we are. We met him backstage after his surprise appearance in Olivia Rodrigo's set, which is
just to add
lovely
to it.
and thrilling. Yeah, exactly. And for all fans of The Cure, he dropped a bit of a bombshell in this chat as well. When we came back to meet him in the backstage area, he was just there chatting to Olivia Rodrigo. Kneecap were there, he said hi to them. It was all very surreal, and it was like midnight.
Yeah, it was quite
which
late.
just added to the strangeness.
Not late for Robert, though.
No, exactly. Robert was just getting started. So let's get into this chat.
Això és New Music Fix Daily. En directe des del Primavera Sound a BBC Radio 6 Music.
6.
Robert Smith, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to talk with you. You just come off stage with Olivia Rodrigo. How was that?
Pretty intense.
Yeah.
Although I was just saying to it, it's such a different thing. It's like when I did the thing at Glastonbury. Although it's the same thing superficially, you walk out on stage, you sing. It is a totally different thing for me. Like the mental space that I'm inhabiting, and the difference in energy and just the timbre of everything is just so massively full on. Yeah. I sort of, I don't know, I felt a bit lost at Glastonbury, and the same tonight. I'm kind of walking on thinking, really? You know, it's like, so although I did the song with her, and I didn't really expect to be singing it live. It just kind of happened that we were playing yesterday, and she just said, you know, can we do it? Like a few weeks ago, she just said, how about we do it? And I was like, okay. So I didn't think about it too much, because if I kind of like think about it too much, I'll say it's too impossible, because we've got another show tomorrow, and like this is the first of a run of like 30 odd shows, and I was, you know, the practical side of my head, the professional side of my head would be saying I should be in bed really tonight and I shouldn't be doing this, but yeah, it's fantastic. It really is. I mean, it's she's so good. I mean, she is genuinely fantastic, like as a songwriter and as a singer, as a performer. I mean, and the band, everything about it, I genuinely love what she does.
We have a lot of questions about how that relationship with Olivia came to be, but I'm curious. So she introduced the song that you performed together as, she said, no one has heard this song yet.
No.
So is this an official duet between the two of you?
Yeah, it's on her album. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell my band till yesterday night after we came off, and they were like, "What?"
They had other things on their minds.
And out of umbrage, none of them are here because they didn't want. We're not coming. I'd like the same as with Glastonbury. I was saying it'd be really nice, everything we do, if it's just like it's genuinely secret.
Yeah.
It's just exciting when we do it, and it proved the point again tonight, I think. So, yeah, it's on. She sent me, or Dan, her producer, sent me a link to her album a few weeks ago, but I haven't listened to the album because I like to get albums either in vinyl or CD and put them in and sit and listen to them, or jump around the room and listen to them. So I don't listen to music online very much. So so I haven't heard the whole thing, weirdly.
Yeah.
But I've heard the thing I've done. I've heard a handful of songs that she played me, but it's great. I mean, you know, like I say, I am slightly in awe of how easy she finds it all. It's not really comparable to how I do things.
As in the pop stardom or the songwriting, or which part?
All aspects of it. I think it's partly an age thing. You know, at 23, you've got a lot more energy than you have at someone of my age, but it just comes across as very effortless, very natural, and I'm not really a natural performer. I think when I write songs, I'm writing them for a very specific reason. I'm writing them, and I agonise over them, to be honest, a lot of the time in later life, and that's not really. She's kind of like just banging that song, saying, "What do you think of this? What do you think?" And I'm like, "That's great," you know. And I'm not really sure about this one. I'm thinking, you know, it took me 16 years to get the last album done. So, yeah.
And you talk about Olivia's impact. I guess the reverse of that. Do you dissect the impact you've had on people like Olivia, the younger generation, younger musicians. When we watched you perform last night, Grian Chatton of Fontaine's DC was there, singing every word, absolutely loving it with his pals.
Someone showed me a clip today. Yeah.
Do you look at things like that and?
I'm aware of it and have been through the years, because a lot of people kind of get in touch. A lot of people that I like get in touch and just and it's really lovely talking to people and meeting people that do what I do and that do it well. I think it's one of the perks of my job, actually, getting free tickets and watching bands from the side of the stage. We were just talking about that, about how like the Cure tends to do festivals every few years, and part of the reason is that we're playing live to people who wouldn't really otherwise come and see us. You kind of know that. So there's an awful lot of younger people at this festival, and all the festivals will be doing, most of the big festivals will be playing through the summer, which, they just wouldn't come and see us. They really wouldn't. So you're getting an opportunity to play to those people and say, this is what we do, and some of them will like us and some won't. And it does cut the other way, and I hadn't really thought about it until I was talking to Olivia, and she's saying, yeah, but because there aren't that many older people at festivals, it doesn't really work the other way, but it's still, she's saying, no, it does, because it's like there are people who love your band, like, that are now listening to me. And she's saying, like, when she's asking, like, who's excited about the Cure, we kind of found ourselves in a position whereby there are a lot of younger people who have just kind of just getting into the Cure, which is, they have done over the years. We've always kind of refreshed the audience, but it seems like the last couple of years it's become much more evident. I'm not really sure why. With like, songs like Boys Don't Cry and stuff are really sort of tapped into something, and people are just responding to it, which is great. That's the whole point of us making music still. I mean, it keeps me going. The response yesterday to us playing our first show of the summer was genuinely overwhelming. I just wasn't sure what it was going to be like. We've had a couple of weeks of rehearsals, and Cure rehearsals so awful. I mean, I'm not being funny. Like, you come out at the end, the last day, and you think, really? And then we go on stage, and it's like, whoa, it's like, what just happened? So, it was great. It's been a really, really good couple of days. So, I've missed my ballet Valentine. That's the only downside of tonight, but I can live with that.
It's so interesting that you say that was your feeling going out on stage, because I bumped into a Six Music listener in the crowd called Gurpreet, who was talking about how much he loved your set, and he actually said he noticed when you came out on stage that you sort of had this expression that was full of joy, but also sort of like awe and almost surprise at how many people were there and so excited to see you.
Yeah,
which seems crazy to me, because obviously
no, it doesn't, and it's not. It's honestly not. It's real, because so we arrived kind of early yesterday, and we're in the dressing room, and Addison Rae went on, and it's like the loudest banging thing you've heard in your life. And we're sitting, and the whole structure's rattling, and everyone's singing along, and you're thinking, oh, we've got to follow that. So when you go out on stage, and I walked along, I'm kind of like looking at the beginning of the show, I'm kind of just wandering about, and seeing that hadn't emptied out, that was a really nice moment for me, because I thought that would just have disappeared, that crowd would have disappeared, and they stayed. And you kind of, when you see people on each other's shoulders, they have to be young, because old people don't do that very much. So that's another, indicator of like, this is like, people are really getting into it. So it is a genuine thing. And also, I don't know how much longer we'll be doing it. So I sort of feel every time we do a show, we're one show nearer to the end. That isn't supposed to be maudlin, but it's just it's real. So when I'm at the end, I'm looking out at the crowd, and I'm thinking, we may not come back here, So, and we've been here a lot of times, and it's been my entire life pretty much as performing in some way or other. So, and I realised that it's 50 years this year since I first got on a stage in front of people. So, there's not that much time left for us to keep doing this, but as long as the band's really getting on. It was lovely having Eden there, Simon's son, took over, because Perry, our keyboard and guitarist, died at Christmas, and it had a big impact on the band. It really upset us. I've known him since we were kids, and just to keep going, I think with someone younger in the generation that I've known. I mean, I'm his godfather. I've known him since he was born, obviously, but that was really good, actually. I wasn't sure how it would work. I wasn't sure how the dynamic would work, but it worked really, really well. And it's like we come in off stage and he's like, that's the best night of my life, you know. And you suddenly get the feeling, much like with Olivia's band, it's so exciting. You know, coming off stage, it's like, wow, you know, there's like a big hug, and I'm like, ah. You know, it's those little moments that make me think, like, what we do. I'm so lucky to still be doing it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And how does it feel, you know, when you've played these songs, I guess now thousands of times, you know, how does it feel going into tracks like In Between Days or Pictures of You and seeing that reaction from such a large audience?
Well, we try and change up the set list. We rarely, if ever, play the same set list 2 shows running. So we rehearsed, I think we went in to rehearsals with about 60 something songs. I cut it down to about 55. By the last day, I felt we could play 55 songs. So we'll be playing 55 songs through the summer. You kind of know with a festival crowd, like it or not, you're kind of in competition. It's not an overt competition who's going to be the best band. There is no such thing. But you want to present people with the best things that you do. And so you'd be pretty dumb not to play Love Song and Friday I'm in Love. You know, I mean, there are diehards like, oh no, not Friday. You're thinking, like, we're playing a festival in Barcelona on a Friday. You know, so, but there's room, like yesterday, to put in a B-side or to put in a song that we haven't played for like 10 years or whatever. So we'll be dropping them in through the summer to keep, you know, to keep us on our toes as well, and to keep people sort of like, it's an awful feeling. There are bands who just like, that's your set list and you're playing the same set list 18 months later. I mean, it's mind-numbingly awful. It doesn't matter how good your songs are. You're like crying out for it's just something different. If only to get your brain active. I mean, learning this song tonight, I spent all day just staring at a piece of paper, and I think, like, and I know, and I still, I was thinking, like, I must look at Olivia when we're singing. I must look at her. I must make the connection. Like, and Mary's with me, and like she's like saying, look at her, make it special. And like, and I thought, I'm not looking at her through the first because I know I'm going to forget those. And as soon as I looked at her, I forgot what I was singing. It's like, oh no. Yeah.
You pulled it off. No one ever would have noticed. So last night was the first gig of a run of live shows you're doing over the summer, and obviously your sets are very long. I mean, last night was 2.5 hours, and I mean, how do you feel about
it? Won't be 2.5 hours everywhere.
Okay.
They begged us to play 2.5 hours yesterday. The band didn't want to play 2.5 hours. They're like, why is the first show 2.5 hours long? But I'm glad we did, because it was a test of, like, you know, where we are, and I thought it was really good. I was pretty shattered, I have to admit, by the end of it. I mean, I was kind of it was just pure adrenaline in the last 2 or 3 songs. No, some of the big it's a mixture of festivals that are essentially us. They're like the Hyde Park things, so they're like through the summer. They have, like, you know, you'll be playing somewhere where other bands are playing, but essentially I'm picking the bill. So, like, the Porto festival that we're doing tomorrow is one of those. Although it is a real festival, they let me pick the bill, so we can kind of play as much or as little as we want. We can be a bit weirder tomorrow than we were here. But when we go and play, like, you know, Pink Pop or Werchter or the big festivals, that's when the element of competition creeps in, and you think, like, we're not going to open with an instrumental B-side. That would be really, really dumb. So, you know, but it's nice to keep everybody, you know, guessing a little bit. It's just, it just makes the whole thing a bit more exciting for everyone. So.
What I'd love to know, obviously the response to Songs of a Lost World was huge. With it, you know, you've said 50 years in now. What I'd love to know is, do you still have a similar process of recording music, or is there anything that exists now that you wish you had back when you first started recording music?
It's totally different, but I think that throughout the history of the band, it's evolved in different ways. I think there was a period, you know, I mean, before digital recording, when you were recording to tape, you were in a room, everyone plugged in, everyone had to know what they were playing, because if someone went wrong, you had to do it again. If you went wrong 3 times in a row, you would be beaten up, basically. So
it's expensive too.
It's expensive, and also a waste of everyone's time. And you think, like, you know, that kind of changes. You still, and then the recording sessions become longer, and you get more into the sort of, like, you know, you kick back, and it's like, let's experiment, and you still end up with the same number of songs. It's just taking 10 times as long, but. Nowadays, I mean, we did the initial recording of Songs of Lost World in 2019 as a band, but I took everything home. We did like 30 something songs, and I kind of stripped them all apart because I've got like a little setup at home, and then I put things back together and kept the drum takes that I liked, and then I got Simon to replay the bass against the vocals that I was singing, because I didn't write any words for it. We did everything instrumental, which is unusual. So I was writing to what we'd already played, which is a different way of doing it. It was just, I tried to change everything actually, because we hadn't done it for so long. I thought, what's the point in going back to how we used to do it? It was 15 years since the previous recording sessions. So it was good, but very, very different. And then I did everyone separately to my vocals. So I built the songs up, and I changed how I was singing things in response to it. So it was actually a very sort of, that's why it took a bit of time to finish it. But we did record 3 albums worth of songs. So the second one's done. So that's about to be delivered to Universal. So it's the third one. The third one's weird actually, because the third one, now I've been doing this, people will think, it's because you've been working with Olivia. Because the third one's really, really upbeat. It's really poppy. But it doesn't compare melodically to the stuff that Olivia does. But it's more sort of Cure, my idea of Cure pop. It's probably like 20 BPM slower than anything she does. But what we've been putting out in the last couple of years, it's really rocking. It's really, it's banging. But yeah, the one the next one is, if anything, it's more dismal than Songs of a Lost World. But, I mean, dismal's not that's a horrible word to use. It's quite dark. It's emotional. It's like it's this. I don't know. I don't know. It's related to Songs of a Lost World, but it's a different perspective on things. And I'm not sure. Some people, I played to a couple of people, and I played to 3 people, and 2 of them thought it was much sadder, and one person thought, that's like, you've got a change of heart. And I'm like, how did you hear that in what I've just played you? So I don't know. I suppose a lot of it depends on your mindset, how you respond to some of the words. It's I've left it slightly more ambiguous, I think, this next record than the first. The first one was really down the line, sort of like, woe is me, I'm getting old, headline news. But yeah, I think that it was a difficult record to write and record, and which is why I did it at home, because I kept getting it wrong. Because I was genuinely, obviously upset by a lot of people in my family dying, and I wanted to mark it with like vocal performances in particular that I would listen to and I would fall in love with. So it took me a long time to get it right. It's a very fine balance getting it. When you're too emotional, it can be really uncomfortable. Like yesterday, we did End Song at the end of the set, and I started crying. I was thinking, oh no, and then there's a voice in my head saying, don't cry. It's like, not because it's a wrong thing to do, but I know that I'm going to lose control over what I'm singing, and it just gets uncomfortable. It's like saying, and it's all right if you if I was 40 years younger, people think, oh, he's feeling it, Whereas old, you're just thinking, he's had too many beers.
Nothing wrong with that at Primavera Fest.
There isn't, but you shouldn't do it in front of like 70,000 people.
Fair enough. We were curious about what you've been listening to. You mentioned that you like to listen to things as they come out and you don't really stream. What acts are you excited about? What albums have arrived on your doorstep recently that you've been playing a lot?
That's putting me on the spot. When I was doing the Teenage Cancer Trust Week at the Albert Hall, I was listening to a lot of new music because I was thinking there would be 3 bands every night. The reality of getting people into the hall seated and having an interval and the curfew and everything, I think all but one night was just 2 bands. So although I listened to a lot of stuff for that opening slot, which I thought would be really nice for someone to play 30 minutes at the Albert Hall, it's a great thing. So I had Nihad Hrustevenovic, I never say his name right, playing accordion every night, and we had a list of people who were going to be and didn't quite make the cut, which I was a bit sad about. But I mean, Just Mustard, the obvious example, because I really loved when I first heard them, and they played with us in Dublin a few years ago, and I've got them on a lot of the bills that we're playing through the summer, because I think they're really, particularly live, I just think they're great. And it's kind of selfish, really, because it means I get to watch them. It's like,
I mean, you talk about new music and artists that inspire you. I guess with Olivia, and you say Dan, is Olivia's producer Dan Nigro?
Yeah.
Does that in turn inspire you as well musically? Do you ever get any tips from a producer like Dan, or?
it's not going to be me mixing the next The Cure album. It's going to be someone else. So I'm down to like 2 people, and that's arisen out of people recommending and like me, that I listen to stuff which I wouldn't normally listen to, a lot of stuff. So that's another route for me into like different kinds of music, because I don't really want a producer that I don't know whether there is such a thing as Cure music. I'm not sure what it is, but in my mind, I don't want someone who's going to just make us sound more like The Cure than we sound. I want someone who's going to make the songs sound really good, and I'm not stupid enough to think that I can do that. I can't. With Songs of Lost World, I had it in my head exactly what it was supposed to sound like, much as with Blood Flowers or Pornography, albums that we've done down the years, where if someone else did it, it would sound wrong to me. But the new one, I want it to sound different to how I hear it in my head, because I think it will just be a better set of songs. So yeah, I mean, Dan was one of the people I was thinking that might be a bit kind of like on the nose. He's fantastic. I mean, honestly, he's like the mixes that he did of the when I first started doing the demo vocals with Olivia. He sent me the demo, and then and Olivia sent me the words, and I sang it. And and I was like this. And because I was so relaxed, I think it's probably most of it was the vocal that they ended up using, which is always the way. You don't think it at the time, but because you just kind of like vibing, and then it's like, and he sent back a rough mix, and I was like, this sounds great. And they went through a load of people mixing the songs and ended up back with his. And there's like, although they have actually on the album they've used someone else, they've kind of used Dan's mix as a template, but his mix of the initial demo is just so good. I mean, that's the one that I play at home, and I can't play it actually, if I'm honest. It drove me mad. I was waking up every day with the Stat song when I was singing it. It's like she writes songs that are so, they just stick inside your head and you cannot get rid of them. It's like, so relearning it was like almost like jumping back into water, thinking, oh no, it's gonna like. So today I woke up singing this song, and tomorrow I wake up singing this song. It's like, oh no.
What do you do to preserve your voice? Like, are you consciously aware of like trying to preserve it? Because your voice sounds so good. Like, even for that really long set, even still by the end, it was amazing. Is that just like a genetic good
I'm just
luck,
lucky.
or really?
Yeah, it really is. I don't do anything at all. I mean, I stopped smoking about 10 years ago. I'd never really smoked, but I stopped completely because I got fed up with it. Apart from that, no, absolutely nothing. It is weird. I know, I agree. There will be one day I'll open my mouth and nothing will happen. I know it will be like that. I take a bit more care of myself generally since I turned 60. I'm sort of more aware of how what I used to take for granted, that I would just wake up and feel fine. You don't, you know. So you just have to be more self-aware. I take it more seriously in that sense. I don't, you know. This is unusual for me to be. I shouldn't really be here, all joking aside. You know, I shouldn't be talking, I shouldn't be singing. But, you know, it's fine. Yeah. I'll just start to sing very low.
Well, Robert Smith, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you very much. It's been nice.